is wrong with people? You know, I realized something when I joined the Black conservative movement that there were so many different types of voices and conservative styles that I had to get to know. I had to figure out which of these conservative styles resonated with me. So, I mean, obviously, when I got onto YouTube and I started listening to different Black conservative voices and stuff like that, I jumped on the Candace Owens and the Brandon Tatum's train. I jumped on the Anthony Brian Logan train. Shout out to him. I like Anthony Brian Logan. I think he's very objective and he really keeps his deliveries to the point. But I realize that even in the conservative space, there are messy individuals who are in it for the gain and in it for the glory, and they can't take somebody else talking the same way that they do, and they just need to discredit people. So I was really disappointed when I saw Brandon Tatum's podcast about Kimberly Klacik and Candace Owens because number one, these are two females and they should be able to rock that out by themselves, whatever differences they have without having a man come in and jump in, big brother or whatever. Because bottom line is Candace Owens is not the voice for the Black community. She could be a voice. She's a voice for the Black community, but she's not the voice for the Black community, nor does she represent the mindset or nor the experiences of a lot of the people. So in my opinion, there cannot be a voice for the Black community because there's just too many different segments of Blacks coming from different experiences, even down in the conservative sector. So I think it's really ridiculous for Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum to be going after Kimberly Klacik for making that statement. Now, maybe you may feel that she's not being supportive of Candace Owens by saying that she's not the voice for the Black community. But I personally believe that Candace Owens is a voice just like any other Black conservative. And I think what he did in that podcast was try to minimize the voice and the perspective of Black conservatives that are not mainstream, not him or Candace Owens or ABL, because they want to be the Black conservative authority. But they don't come from everybody's perspective. And so I think a lot of people are interested in hearing a diverse Black conservative perspective, whether it's one that's more urban or more super duper conservative. I mean, I think that at the end of the day, ain't nobody trying to take your white people. I think at the end of the day, we as Americans, we're just trying to get a whole diverse spectrum of this American experience from everybody. And, I think Candace Owens has her American experience. You have your American experience, Brandon Tatum. Kimberly Klacik has hers. I have mine. ABL has his. But at the end of the day, we can all come together and speak our voice on behalf of the Black community in a way that promotes progress, which I find most Black conservatives, we are about promoting progress. So to minimize somebody's Black conservative perspective because they're not you, Candace, or ABL, what y'all really trying to do is muffle other conservative voices that may be getting more attention and maybe diverting attention from you. I mean, I think this is really petty. Like, I was really disappointed in seeing that. Like, are you serious? Like, what Kimberly Klacik said may not have set well with Candace Owens, but at the same time, she could be making a point to what she knows, her experience, her conservative perspective as it relates to Baltimore. And I just feel like, that was just highly unnecessary. I think that it puts people in this mindset, again, that Black people cannot coalesce, even Black conservatives. Even Black conservatives cannot come together and make sense. And again, we don't have to care about it. We don't have to agree with each other's delivery. You know what I mean? As long as we're all a voice for the Black community. But what Republicans do is they try to prop up one voice as if that is the voice for Black people. And Candace Owens just does not resonate with a lot of Black people for a variety of different reasons. And a lot of that is because of how she pandered with the George Floyd. She panders. Like, I'm sorry. There's a difference between telling the truth about your community and getting paid to pander. And a lot of black people recognize, paid blacks from all sides, whether you're conservative or you're liberal. If you're a paid black, you're a paid black, and we know how you sound and how you talking. So to say that Candace Owens has always resonated with liberal blacks outside of the monolithic mindset, it like a lot of liberal blacks can actually say, you know what, she's saying the truth, but it's how she's saying it and who she's pandering to when she's saying it. You know what I mean? Anytime you tell black people to rock with the Republicans, leave the Democratic plantation, call them something that you think that they may not think that they are, that's offensive. You're not about to resonate. You calling somebody a slave, they may not think they're slaves. A lot of slaves did not know that they were slaves. So I'm very disappointed. And, I think that this is just like people reveal themselves. All you got to do is just get on a low content time where people actually have to come up with ideas, something that they can't feed off. And then you'll start seeing who the real people are. I mean, I don't feel like we should be even having a conversation about Candace Owens and Kimberly Klacik. You know what I mean? We really shouldn't be having a conversation about these two females. They both seem to have an agenda that is for America, and they both seem to have an agenda that is sensible to elevating the black community. You know what I mean? So it's a little that was a little disappointing, Brandon Tatum. And you talking about somebody coming after you and Brandon Tatum. Like, let me tell you something, bro. You have your population of white people that you make your money off of, okay? And I know that you don't want them to listen to any other voices but yours, but there is another black conservative perspective outside of yours and outside of what you cover. And I think those people should be able to hear them too without you trying to discredit those voices because you feel like people are getting too hot or too visible and people are listening to other voices outside of you and Candace Owens. So everybody do your thing. But my thing is, why call shots? I mean, big ups to Kim Klacik for even running. I give props to Kim Klacik and Joe Collins because even though the odds were definitely against them, at least they tried to do something. At least they did something and stood up when some other people like me, I hate politics. I have no tolerance for it. I have no ambitions of running for office. But I give people like Kim Klacik and Joe Collins, who I've been able to chat with, he's a good guy. I give them props for trying, you know what I mean? Planting the seeds that maybe you can consider a black conservative in these historically democratic seats. So big ups to Kim Klacik and Joe Collins for, going against the odds and still trying anyways, and I just think that, I mean, these are the petty things. I'm telling you, I don't like it when alpha females go after beta type females. Like Candace Owens is an alpha female, and she's the type that bullies. She is a bully. And people keep saying, oh, I would love to see you and Candace Owens do something. And then I see her doing this like bullying stuff with people unnecessarily because she's feeling like somebody is stepping on her toes. Like, she's highly territorial. Candace Owens is a highly territorial black female. And what she does is she's so territorial. Tucker Carlson had her on his show talking about the dad and the little girl with the critical race theory. And she's like, yeah, I mean, she's like kind of stepping in my territory. And I'm like, no, and Gutfield sort of covered her. And she's like, she's stepping in my territory. And I'm like, Candace, when it comes to elevating the black community with sensible thought, there is no territory. Every single black person who takes on the conservative perspective should be a voice, no matter if they are the prissy up whatever conservative or the urban conservative. I think people should listen to all black conservatives who are pro-American, even if they're pro-black elevation. There's nothing wrong with being pro-black because pro-black only just means that you are pro-elevating your people, pro seeing the Black community rise. It don't have anything to do with you being anti-American or anti any other American. And I wish white people will understand when you hear the term pro-Black, you know what I mean? Even though some of you guys are like, well, what if I say pro-white? You know, what I'm saying is that as a community that has been marred by historical rhetoric, individuals who are pro-Black are people who are pro-Black progress in the Black community, seeing the mental disposition of the Black community change. So I consider myself a pro-Black conservative. And if you are open to learning more about the pro-Black conservative perspective, do not be afraid to link up with any other pro-Black conservative. Candace Owens, Brandon Tatum is not your only voices or reason for the conservative movement. And I'm sorry that they are feeling threatened that other voices are rising and they have to get on the horn and talk about and try to discredit our voices and this so-called other Black conservatives. It's like, look, you know what I mean? Y'all not even resonating with most of the Black community. Y'all not. So I think it's very reasonable for Kimberly Clayson to say that Candace Owens is not the voice of the Black community. She's not even a voice of the Black community when you theoretically want to think about it, because like you say, when we look at the Black numbers, they're still not convinced. And I did a video on why Black conservatives don't resonate with Black liberals. And the reason why we don't resonate is because of rhetoric that some Black conservatives tout. And a lot of it comes off very insensitive to Black liberals. So when you get into your urban conservatives, like your Maj Tourés, these brothers are able to resonate with a segment of Black America that your Brandon Tatums and your Candace Owens can't, because they seem to be pandering to Republican talking points. And Maj Tourés and your Angela Stantons, they are talking to the Black sensibility. And that's why they resonate to a segment of the Black community better than your Candace Owens and your Brandon Tatums. So you don't want to shut out any other Black conservative perspective that can resonate with any portion of the community that Candace and Brandon and all the other voices cannot reach. I think it's really, really petty. And again, I go back into it. You know, we are all talking about the same thing. It is illogical for Kimberly Klacik and Candace Owens to debate on anything because they'll be talking about the same damn talking points. What are they going to debate about? Who's a voice for the Black community? I mean, this is so dumb. This is so dumb. To me, the last thing I wanted to see in my feeds, seriously, the last thing I wanted to see in my feeds was Kimberly Klacik responding to some alpha dumb shit that Candace Owens came up with because she's feeling the pressure of this woman having a voice. I mean, that's what it is. Anytime you talk about a little child who talks about critical race theory stepping on your territory, Candace, you petty as hell. You know you coming after Kimberly Klacik because you being petty. That's what that is. And I'm speaking on it, Brandon Tatum. Since you talk about anybody that comes up or Candace Owens, and I'm like, bro, stop. Because you're not resonating to a lot of Black people either. You're not. Y'all pander to a segment in the community in America that want to hear y'all dropping so-called truth bombs about y'all people. Y'all being really petty right now. America, there is a diverse Black conservative perspective. And if you saw CPAC 2020, you heard some of these Black conservatives. They're not your Candace Owens. They're not your Brandon Tatums. They're your Maj Tourés. They're your Angela Stantons. You know, these are the individuals on that CPAC panel are alternative conservative perspectives that are valid in hearing, because we're going to give you a perspective of not just our elevation to conservatism, but we're going to give you a realistic perspective and point of view about the Black community beyond what the Republicans want y'all to know about Black people. Because there's a whole wealth of information and even psychological understanding that maybe you guys need to have about the Black community. And I don't think that you necessarily have to get it from Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum. And I wish they would stop being so damn petty and acting like other Black conservative voices, so-called Black conservative. I'm like, what the hell? Y'all must be feeling threatened right now. Y'all must be in y'all feelings right now, because other Black conservatives are speaking up and demonstrating that we are intellectuals too. That more than Candace Owens is an intellectual voice to speak about Black issues and that can make sense. Sorry, white people. I'm sorry y'all thought that she was the only one. There are other Black conservatives that make sense and have an intellectual perspective. You know, I mean, we exist. You know, we do exist. And like I said, you know, I respected Candace Owens, you know, in the beginning, and then I stopped respecting her with that comment. The more she commentated on George Floyd, and to me, she did a better job at pissing off liberal Blacks than bringing them over to a conservative perspective. So maybe you established mainstream Black conservatives may benefit from letting the urban conservatives have a voice and let people understand the urban conservative perspective. And like I said, shout out to Anthony Brian Lowigan, ABL, Grat Foreman. These brothers are very objective. They are very, very objective in the way that they cover, you know, social politics. They're very objective in how they deliver their information about the Black community. We are all frustrated as Black conservatives with how Black liberals have sold out the Black narrative. We are all frustrated with that. But I don't think that it's like valuable to try to pretend like we're the only ones and that we're just like this small little exclusive number of people that have come to some intellectual enlightenment, okay? Urban conservative voices matter. No, we're not all primed and polished and speaking like, you know, people want us to speak, but we speak that real talk. We speak that truth. And sometimes people want to hear that raw truth just as much as they want to hear that scripted truth that somebody else is talking about. So, disappointing, Brandon Tatum, for sure. And somebody actually reached out to me on LinkedIn, was like, I really want you guys to work together. And people were reaching out to me on YouTube, like, I would really love to see you and Candace Owens work together. And it's like, no, I'm straight. They got their thing going on. I'm going to keep my urban conservative perspective over here because apparently they think we phonies. They think we fake. They think our American experience is invalid because they got a population of people that don't want to hear us. So I got it. I'm cool. I'm doing my thing over here. Anybody want to collaborate on the Black conservative perspective? Y'all can definitely come over here. We can chop it up about Black America, but I will not deal with petty people. I will not deal with people who try to muffle other people's voices from speaking. I will not. So everybody have a good night. I'm about to go to sleep, wash my face. I got some brown sugar scrub. I'm excited. Bye.